I'm back. It is Back to Life, episode 7. I am, as always, thrilled to be doing this and excited for just some things that are happening and updates and all that stuff. And I wanted to dive into, the last episode I talked about breaking down and breaking through. And I have had just some amazing breakthroughs and just all kinds of all kinds of things, spiritual awakenings, as you will, if you will, not as you will. Anyway, I wanted to share something pretty amazing that happened with the breast cancer. I did a PET scan, and the PET scan is basically it scans your whole body. And what they do is they put this fluid in your body that it actually feels like you feel like you have to go to the bathroom with it, except you don't. It's a very strange feeling. Anyway, it lights you up on the inside. So when they do the scan, if there's any cancer in your body, it will light up. So I had that done. The first one I had, well, actually it was the second one. I had one done when I was first diagnosed back in November of 2022, and I had another one. Let's see. December, January, I think it was about March, maybe towards the end of March, I did another scan. And the great news is that there showed no evidence of disease in my body. Now, what's interesting about this is that when I went in and they told me there's no evidence, we don't see anything there. And actually, the doctor was really kind of nonchalant about it. He wasn't real excited. And I know that they have to remain a little bit neutral, I guess. However, for me, it was interesting because I had the same reaction I had when I was first diagnosed with it, was just this flat line, like not really in my body, not really understanding what was happening. And so I've noticed also that when I would go and talk to the doctor, I would get super confused, and I'd let myself get confused, and because there was be so much information and there were so many things I want to know, and cancer can be very confusing, especially with how the cells divide and the cells regenerate, and all these things can play a factor in cancer, blood, all these things, DNA, all that stuff. So I would just get super confused, and I would get overwhelmed with the information, and I would just start to tune out, I guess. So when the doctor told me that there wasn't anything showing, I just did the same thing, had absolutely the same reaction. It's interesting. I was talking to one of my kids about this back in 2009. This is a really cool story. I won a Harley Davidson. I laugh about this. So I was with my dad, and my dad has since passed away. He died. I think it's been about 5 years now. Anyway, it was really an amazing moment I had with him, and I was at a biker rally in Grants, New Mexico, of all places. Really small, tiny town. It used to be a mining town. Now it's a prison town. There's like a couple prisons there, so that's what keeps this little tiny town thriving. Anyway, I went to this biker rally with my father, and we went on a Friday night, I believe. And that night, they were actually giving away a trailer. So the trailer would be something that you would haul the bike on or whatever. And I had originally planned to leave Saturday morning, which would have been the next day. And I was talking to my dad, and he was like, "Well, why don't you stay another night and we could go to the biker rally again?" And so the biker rally is, bunch of motorcycles, and they get together. There's this big concert, and they have lots of food, different things like that. And so I went the second night, and Dawkins was playing. I don't know if any of you know who Dawkins is. It was very funny because they were done by 8 o'clock. They were just like, "Well, we're tired. We're gonna close it down." So they're a little bit, they're a little bit older. So anyway, my dad and I were laughing about that. So At the end of the night, I think it was like 10:30. They do the drawing for the bike, and it was a Harley Davidson Sportster 883. And so at the end of the night, we all go out of this gate thing, and we're all standing there. There's a big crowd of people, and you have a wristband, and on the wristband there's numbers, and they called my number. And I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm like, did they just say my number? Like I'm second guessing that I'm second guessing this. And I told my dad, I said, I think I won. I think I won. And I'm so like not really believing this is happening. And I have little to no reaction. I'm just like, it's almost stunning, right? And my dad was like, go up there, go up there. So he's like pushing me up there. And I am just like, I'm not in an excitement, right? Like it's a very strange, it was a very strange place. And everybody's clapping and cheering and they are taking pictures. And I got on the bike and we ended up in the newspaper, like all these things. And I just didn't have any sort of, I don't know, it was really weird. It was like this part of me shut down because it was so shocking, so shocking to actually win something like that. I still feel shocked. I ended up selling this motorcycle back to my dad because I just got really apprehensive of driving it. I was just afraid of getting killed on it. I did get an M on my motorcycle, or my motorcycle. I got an M on my license. I went to the class, and something the lady said in the class petrified me, which was it's not a matter about if you get in an accident, it's when. So it's a matter of if you're going to survive the accident. And it just did something to my brain where I was like, you know what? I'm a young single mom. I don't need to be wiping myself off the planet this early. I have kids to raise. So I decided to give it to my dad, basically sell it to my dad. So that's what I ended up doing. So anyway, I just say this because I think it can go both ways. Where if there's something shocking, it's something traumatic and shocking, and even something good could be shocking. So I had absolutely the same reaction. And so going back to the PET scan, he's telling me this, and I'm just taking it in, and I don't know what to do with this information. I really don't. I was in shock because part of me was like, I would have been happy with the tumor shrinking after 3 months. And let me just put this into perspective for you. My whole body was lit up. It was all in my bone marrow. It was all in my bones. The whole body was lit up like a Christmas tree. So this is absolutely remarkable, especially after such a short amount of time, but believe about 3.5 months. So the doctor wasn't real thrilled about it. He wasn't like all excited and saying, this is awesome. Like he just was like pretty flat, pretty neutral. And then a couple of weeks later, I went into treatment with my friend. I was on my last round of Herceptin, which is chemotherapy. I did 12 rounds of that, and I was on my 12th round. And she went with me. We were going to have a celebration afterwards. We are going to go have Italian food. My taste buds still weren't working very well, so that wasn't fun. But anyways, that's one of the side effects of chemo, by the way. Little to no taste buds, so you might as well just eat a bunch of vegetables. This is my theory. Anyway, so we went in and we're talking to, this time it was the nurse. So they would flop, the doctor and the oncologist would flop with the nurse every other appointment. So we're sitting there and I'm like, could we talk about the scan? Because I'm still not really getting it. Like I need to know what this means. Does it mean I'm in remission? Does it mean, like, can you explain this to me? Now, when I was doing my visualization, when I was thinking, oh, it'd be nice if it would just shrink, I thought, well, if I could have anything I wanted, would it be that I just wanted them to shrink? No. it would be that it's totally gone. So I just kept envisioning that it's gone, that the army men were going into my body, zapping out all the cancer, all the bad stuff in my body, and that I'm healthy and well. I'm healthy and well, and I'm cancer free. So I just kept doing that. And I also thought that if somebody tells me that I have no evidence of disease, I know that I've made that possible. I know that that became possible. And so when we were talking to the nurse, she said, well, we don't like to use the word remission because when you use the word remission, it's like it can keep coming back. Like, we don't want to put that out there. So she said, there's no evidence of disease. And they showed me the scan, and there's nothing on it. There is a tiny, minute speck on my lymph node under my armpit that basically the doctor said that probably will disappear. Like there's no reason that that's gonna grow back or anything like that. So, I mean, a tiny speck, you can barely see it. You have to blow the skin up really big to see it. So, no evidence of disease. And my friend was there, and so when we left to go do the treatment, the infusion, I said, did she say what I thought she said? Like, did I hear this right, that there is no evidence of disease? And she said, yes. It's almost like I had to have someone beat it into my head because I could not believe it. And so, very good news, very exciting news. Now, if you've ever had cancer or had a diagnosis of cancer or gone through this whole thing, there's always this unsettling feeling of in the back of us where, especially with a stage 4. I mean, even stage 2, even stage 1, like there's a possibility it could come back. And so I have had that fear that, okay, is it going to come back, And I have got to really work on this. Like, I think as a cancer patient, you have to really work on your mindset around that statement and just continue to see what you want to see. Like, do you want to see yourself well, or do you want to see yourself have disease? You probably don't want to see yourself have disease. So getting out of that mindset, and it's easier said than done, I understand completely, because I've battled with it probably the whole time. And it just gets better and better for me where I keep going, okay, I'm just going to keep seeing myself healthy, keep seeing myself healthy. I even put a screensaver on my phone, which I would really recommend if you're struggling with something, to put that on your phone, and it's a picture of a healthy body, and there's no head on it. So it's kind of morbid. There's no head on the body. You're not able to see the head. It's just from the neck down, and it's a body, and it's a muscular body. It's a fit body. It's a healthy body. And I'm like, that's what I want to see. So every time I look at my phone, that's what I see. So it's putting that subliminal message in your mind. Now, that would be better than continually seeing somebody dying from cancer. So I probably would have put that on my phone. So anyway, just something to think about. So victory, the victory was the clean PET scan, and I'm starting to get, I'm basically rehabilitating myself off of from getting off the chemo, because I have a metastatic breast cancer diagnosis. I do have to do infusions every 3 weeks, and my visualization of that is that pretty soon I won't be doing those, that there would be no reason for me to do those. So that's the thing that I'm working on now within my mindset and my psyche, is to see that happen, whatever that's going to look like. Maybe there's a possibility that I could turn it into a pill. However, I would like the possibility that I just don't have to do it anymore. That sounds better to me than the pill. So that's what we're visualizing now. And I'm excited because technology has come such a long way. And I was talking to somebody. Actually, I was talking to my surgeon, and I'm going to get into that next thing here as an update. Is he had said, if this would have been the 80s, I wouldn't have made it. So, the 80s, there wasn't a lot of help as far as where we are with the technology and medicine and stuff like that. And people have survived it in the 80s too because they did alternative methods. They did holistic methods or whatever. Now I would say that not everything works for everybody. So what works for me might not work for somebody else. So, we just have to be really careful what we do, who we're listening to. I was listening to somebody say, just eat a lot of grapes. Now I know grapes are good for you. And and I guess that if I believed that grapes would heal me, then they probably would. If my belief is that powerful, I just don't have that belief. So you just have to be careful who you're listening to, and I think the best person to listen to is yourself, and really just you know connecting with your body and what's going on with your body. So we get this good news, and it's pretty awesome. We have our celebration at the end. It was just an incredible feeling to be done with chemo and to ring the bell and have my friends there to support me, and all those things, and got to go on a trip to Sedona a couple of weeks later with one of my best friends, and got to see talk to some healers there, and one of the healers, well, actually several of them said the same things to me, which was the worst part for you is done. And I was like, yeah, I really resonate with that. I really believe that's true. The worst part is over. You've already gone through the hardest part of this whole thing. And so I just kept that with me. And anyway, back in January, or not January, sorry, back in November, and I might have alluded to this in one of the previous episodes, I basically was tested for everything when I went into the hospital because they had no idea what was wrong with me. And they tested my stool, and I have traces of blood in my stool. So fast forward to, what are we in, September? July, maybe May, maybe the end of May, they scheduled me for a colonoscopy because I'm in the clear with my blood levels are really good. I'm out of anemia, you guys. That is a miracle in itself. I've been anemic off and on my whole life, and I've been out of it since this last chemo. Well, sometimes it goes down a little bit, but not much. And I could feel a difference just in my energy levels and my body. It's very amazing to not be anemic. And my body, your body really, really, it's not good to have anemia because it takes your immune system down. And so it's something to look at if you are feeling lethargic or fatigued or anything like that. And so they were testing the stool, and had blood in my stool. And anyway, so fast forward to now, or not now, a couple months ago, whatever, May, they were like, hey, you need to do the colonoscopy now, like it's time, and you're in a safe zone to do it. So I go in for the colonoscopy, and they take it out. They found a polyp in there. They take that out. Or no, they didn't take it out, sorry. They found the polyp in there, and they also found something in my rectal wall. So she said, it looks like cancer, and we won't know what stage it is until they do the surgery, all that kind of stuff. So they schedule me for surgery. I'm making this story a short story versus a long one. So they schedule me for the surgery. They take the polyp out, and they take out 35 of my lymph nodes because they have to test the lymph nodes. They didn't do the thing in the rectum because he recommended that I do it separate, and thank God that I did, because woo man, it's a brutal event. Anyway, so I do the surgery. They did robotic laser surgery, and I'm telling you, it's so advanced. It's basically the doctor using a robot to get into these really intricate places in my body, in my colon. So I had a colon resection. Basically, they took it out. They took out 35 lymph nodes. I get a call basically saying that, or no, I didn't get a call. I actually went in to see the surgeon after. I think it was a week after or so, and he said that it was 2 out of the 35 lymph nodes had cancer. So that means is that it's a stage 3 colon cancer. So I'm like, okay, what the F? Really? I mean, I did. I cussed, and then I was like, great. I had an attitude at that moment. I was just like, okay, well, should I just like, should I just like dig my grave and throw myself in it because this is absolutely insanity. I was really pissed off. I'll be honest. And the surgeons goes, no, not at all. Like this is very early. It's a very early stage. Like you can do this. It's not the death sentence. And then the good news was that the stuff in the rectum wasn't cancerous. So went back in for that surgery, and that one was just an in and out day surgery. And I had more pain in that one. I felt like that was so uncomfortable going to the restroom and all those things. So if anyone out there has had surgery, I feel for you. My prayers are with you because man, I had two, and I think that the first one too was I was in a lot of pain, and I don't like taking pain meds. And if you've heard me talk, I don't like it. I don't like them. And I was like, give me something, please give me some pain meds because it was difficult. So, anyway, if you have had any kind of surgery, I feel for you. It's not a fun time. And, yeah, I found myself really actually coming out of those very emotional. And I think some of that was from the anesthesia, just coming out of that. I was really emotional. I was having some really spiritual experiences, though. I was in a lot of pain at one point, and I had asked the CNA to get me a nurse because I was in pain, and he was gone forever. I felt like forever. So I said the Lord's Prayer over and over and over and over. Is all I could do to just be there and be with it and not succumb to the pain. And it actually really helped me a lot. So I just want to say that it was all I could do. I didn't even know what to pray. That was all I could come up with. That was what was in my spirit at the time, and so I just kept saying it over and over and over, and it was really helpful for me. So anyway, back to the colon cancer. I'm pissed off. I'm mad. I'm not numb at all. I'm just mad. So I had gone to a retreat in in Arizona, and it was really awesome. And that really actually helped me because when I found out I had the cancer, that it was cancer, I didn't know what stage it was. I just knew it was cancer. I had a major breakdown when I was in Arizona, and I reacted a lot differently than I did the first time with the breast cancer. I wasn't numb this time. I was like mad. I was mad. I was sad. I was angry. I was just like, God, I just got through this other thing. Like, really, really, universe. And however, I realized that there was something up, right? There was something up from a long time ago because there had been blood in my stool. And I had blood in my stool before, and I just ignored it. I was like, I would, yeah, I would say I ignored it. I downplayed it, I would say, and I downplayed a lot of my symptoms, you guys. Like now coming out of it and looking back, it's like, man, I downplayed a lot of things. I downplayed my fatigue. I downplayed blood in my stool. I just chalked it up to hemorrhoid. Like I got hemorrhoids from pregnancy and have had to deal with those off and on, and I just blamed it on that. I was like, oh well, it's a hemorrhoid or is this? So man, if I could give you any wisdom, it would be to not downplay anything. Go to the dang doctor, even have to pay for it. Find a way to do it because it is really important. And again, if I would have done anything different, I would have gone way sooner because I had traces of that in my stools for a while, and I also put off the colonoscopy because you know they were saying, oh, you need to have it at 50. Well, I was 52 when I had it because it's just recently, and so I waited a little bit too long. And so don't put those things off. Don't downplay your symptoms. And so anyway, I have good news also with the colon cancer is that there is a test. It is a I hope I get this right. It's a ctDNA test. Basically what it does is, and it's a signatura, test that what they do is they test your blood, and what it does is it tests to see if there's any fragments of cancer. So meaning that like if there's cancer in your organs or anything like that, it's going to shed into your bloodstream, or it could shed into your bloodstream. And I had the test before the surgery and it was positive, so not a good thing, right? And then I had the test after the surgery and it was negative. This is a good thing. This is a good sign. So now where I'm at, so the update of where I'm at now is that they really want me to go into a cycle of treatment. And I actually have the pills here if you're watching. So the pills they want me to take is capecitabine. I have no idea. Anyway, I will have to take these, I don't know, first twice a day for 30, they want 90 days of treatment. So twice a day for 90 days. And then they also want me to do oxaliplatin infusion, which would be, it's 3 months of that. And that would be, I calculated it would only be 5 infusions. So that is what they want me to do. Now, this was before the negative test. And now I have not met with the oncologist yet about this, and I'm going to talk to him at great length tomorrow morning about, okay, what are we doing? Like, do I still have to do this or not? Or like, can I just say no to this? So that's where we're at right now. I am I said I would never do chemo again because it wasn't that bad. It just puts you like, you feel blah, like, I don't know, at least for me, maybe, I think everybody has different side effects. I didn't throw up, I didn't have nauseousness, my body handled it pretty well. I just was like tired, and fatigued a little bit. And because it does take your blood levels down, like your white blood cells, your red blood cells, it takes your hemoglobin down. So I just felt a little bit more tired than normal. And I have a lot of energy now. I've been working out twice a day. I'm running and walking. I'm doing weights because I want to get my weight back up, and that's been working out really well. And so now I feel like, okay, I'm going to have a setback, and I'm not real happy about that because I don't know. I think the one thing that I'm learning though is that going into this, I want to be really strong in my body. So really meditating in my body, listening to my body. I had some more sadness come up, and I don't, what's been interesting is that the sadness coming up, I don't really have a specific thing it's linked to, at least it's recent sadness. So I do think that if you've had trauma, you don't necessarily have to have like my mom was abusive to me. I don't necessarily have to have a scenario. You don't, your body, your mind is not going to remember everything. However, your body does remember everything. And so have some sadness in my body that I'm letting out. And it's really, really important, especially with disease, like to keep yourself out of disease is to let yourself express that sadness or grief or whatever it is. So I had a lot of that come up this past week, and I just allowed myself to let it be there. And then I noticed I also had fear come up. Fear around, what if it does come back and what if it's in my organs now? I don't even know. Like, just craziness like that my mind wants to play those tricks on me. And I'm sure all of our minds do that. And so, however, there's just been so much good news, right? That I don't have it in my body. The test is showing that it's negative. They want to test it again in 3 months. So just to make sure that it stays negative, which I'm grateful for. I will be scheduled probably to have another PET scan either this month or next month, probably this month, I think. I think that's what he said. So I'm excited about that. And there is a real thing around that too. Anxiety going into a scan is a real thing. It's like the anticipation of what it's going to be and what's going to happen. So anyway, this is just my most current update. So the cancer journey is a rocky road. It's an up and down thing, and it's just man, my heart just goes out to people that have to deal with this or any other sort of up and down thing where like you just never know what life is going to throw at you. And I think that the thing that's helping me the most is getting into some habits that I had let go of, like more meditating, I put myself on a 90-day protocol basically of meditating and working out, lifting weights, eating healthy. I'm eating way more rice and beans and more heavier things so that I can gain some weight. And one of the things that I did at the very beginning when all this started was I started to do keto. And the problem with that was I lost way too much weight and I could not afford to lose weight. So if you're already very thin, might not want to do keto. You could do some sort of version of it. However, really, I think that for me, it just took, it drained me a little bit because I didn't have I was losing my muscle too, which is blah. Anyway, gaining all that back, I was close to 120. I went from 145 close to 120. I lost a lot of weight to lose for me, and then now I'm back up to 128 just within a couple of weeks. So, anything is possible. I just keep seeing myself healthy and well, and I think that will conclude this episode. And wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, just be kind to yourself and take care of yourself. I was talking to a friend this morning about, when you're faced with something like this, for me, it was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to be on the back burner anymore. I need to make my health a priority. I don't have a choice. And I don't think any of us do. I think that we have been given this vessel as a gift, and it's a gift, and so maybe honoring it, not maybe honoring it is a good idea. Honoring it and feeding it good things and doing nice things to it, I think is a good idea. So that would keep us in peace and harmony. So anyway, wherever you're at today, I just send you all the love in the world. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be doing this podcast. Even if only one person listens to it, maybe it will have some impact. I hope it does. And wherever you're at, God bless you. And hopefully you will hear me in the next season or episode. Whatever. Where am I? Anyway, I hope to see you. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to Back to Life, and please continue to listen, and I will continue to put them out. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.